I'm going to teach you a groove that catches a lot of people out. When you're playing two hands on the hi-hat like this, and you're kind of coming down to the snare, you've seen these kind of grooves before with two hands. People tend to get really kind of simple in terms of what they're doing on their bass drum. So I've got a whole load of courses which go into basically trying to build up your kind of independence with your right foot. And this is from one of the harder courses, this exact groove I'm going to show you. So if you manage to pull this off, it's pretty tricky, but really, really well done. But again, if you're struggling with it, again, on my platform, Drumdex, there's a whole lot of stuff. But the groove we're going to be doing is this. It sounds like this. So you can see, it sounds like an okay groove. It's got a load of bass drums in there. The tricky thing is when you've got bass drums lining up with the left hand, so bass drum and the left hand together, when you're doing the right-left thing, it causes a lot of coordination issues. So basically these three courses that I wrote just build that up. But this is one of the tougher exercises. So because when you're doing the that's the kind of rhythm we've got going on there. Some of those bass drums are with left hands, some are with right hands, and coordination mess. So I'm going to break it down and see if you guys can pull this off. So at the start, very simple. We're just going to play, well, the whole way through the groove. Right, left, snare, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Right hand coming to the snare on 2 and 4. Then in terms of bass drums, right at the beginning, one big bass drum with the right hand. So you got 1 E and then snare, E and then a bass drum with that left hand playing the hi-hat. So the first half of the groove, not too bad. 1 E and 2 E and Then in the second half, it's going to be, let's call it kind of on beat 3 here. We've got right, left on the hi-hat with a bass drum on the first right hand. So right, then a left hand on its own, and then right, left on the hi-hat with bass drums with it. So we've got 3 E and 3 E and right, left. So that's beat 3 there. And then beat 4, we're going to have right hand coming down to the snare, playing the right, left. But it's going to be right hand on the snare, left hand with a bass drum, and then a right hand on its own on the hi-hat, and then a left hand with the bass drum as well. So part 4 is a little iffy. Right, left and a bass drum, right, left and a bass drum. Coordination-wise, brain doesn't like that. Okay, if you just try and work on these 4 groups, sit behind your drum kit and just try and play right, left, and your brain just goes, it's nasty. So, but then, it doesn't stop there. When you put it all back together, again, it's very unbalanced in terms of where the bass drums are. And at the end there, because you've got the 4 E and when you go back to beat 1, you've got a bass drum along on beat 1 with the right hand. So you've actually got a lot of groups of 2 in a row. So as you speed it up, even if I just did without any hi-hats, there's actually 3 kind of double groupings in there as you repeat the phrase. So it's actually kind of tricky even without all the crazy hi-hat stuff. So it creates a really nasty groove. And again, it's not a case of trying to learn this groove because you're going to use this exact groove. You're trying to build up your independence, your coordination, because I see it all the time. People have really fancy kind of bass drum grooves and like with this kind of hand pattern. And then when they go for 2 hands on a hi-hat, the bass drum gets really boring. So trying to kind of build it up and bit immigrant song there. Doing that with 2 hands is really quite tricky to do. So make sure this isn't a weakness in your playing. But that's the groove. As you put it all back together, you get the full thing, which I'm going to play now. And then I'm going to break into a little bit of a drum solo and show you kind of how I'd use this. Again, with everything, when you learn a groove, then try and do some fills with it, put it on the crash cymbal, play the ride, and be able to actually use it in a drum solo or with a song. So anyway, but yeah, if you want to get into these courses, I've got three courses, the 2-handed hi-hat killer kick groove courses, and they all build up to this kind of thing. So really important part of drum. Anyway, drum solo now. Then a fill. See if you can fit it in. And there you have it. Anyway, have some fun with that one, guys. Again, the two-handed killer kick groove courses. Again, all about trying to get his bass drums with those rights and lefts. You can find them on my platform, Drumdex. And when you become a member, you get access to well over 1,000 courses and videos. So, anyway, you guys take care. Have a wonderful week. I shall see you soon.